What is up, my film fans? This is Let's Be Real with Brad. If you guys like movies, TV shows, and other movie-related content, I'm the guy for you, so you should hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video if you like, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Today on our weekly Saw reviews, we're going to be talking about the 6th installment in the Saw franchise with Saw 6. I have to say, this might be one of the better Saw films. Can you believe it? So I guess we'll just get right into the positives first, and let's start off with the story. This might be the best Saw story since the first film. I actually prefer this story out of Saw 2 and Saw 3, and I think the reason for this is because we really do focus on this insurance man who's kind of just a piece of shit. I actually enjoy that this film talks about the healthcare crisis that we have in the United States, and about how many of these insurance companies are so greedy and money hungry. Well, speaking of the story, the writing is also pretty decent. There is a lot of symbolism in this film that is not in any of the other films. Like, there's a number 6 in every place that you watch this movie. There's 6 dice, there's 6 people in a game, and it was so intentional. But there's also other moments in this film that actually have some symbolism to it that I thought was kind of different and a little bit of a change than we have normally seen. It actually felt like Kevin Gurrant actually tried to make a well-competent horror film, and I think he did exceed on that at some kind of level. The acting this time around is so much better as we get in a ton of cast members in this movie. Tobin Bell is still in this movie because, you know, we all love Tobin Bell, and I think he still does a great job, but I also think he delivers some of the best lines of the franchise. The film used Tobin Bell so good in this movie since Saw 3, and you really feel like his presence and his character really matters to this movie. I also found that the flashbacks were used quite well, even though sometimes it just retroactively adds to certain moments. The dialogue is much more crisp, and it's a lot better than I was actually picturing. The conversations in here were actually interesting and were a little bit more subtle than I was remembering. Sure, there are plenty of stupid, dumb moments that do make me angry because it is a Saw sequel, but it was definitely enough of a change that it's definitely one of the best screenplays probably since Saw 2. One of the best aspects of this movie is the cinematography. They really took back the color and the griminess that we had seen in these previous films, and they pushed it all the way back for this one. I really do think this might be one of the best looking Saw films. Even with the last trap of the movie, which all fiery and just kind of gross looking, I thought looked excellent in this movie. I think this was the best choice they could have done because I think we were all kind of getting sick of that grimy, disgusting, low budget look. Like, these movies definitely have the money to have a bigger budget, and they used it quite well in this movie. The best aspect of this whole movie, no doubt, is Kevin Gurrant's directing. I think the directing in this movie is right up there with James Wan from the first film. He excels at just making some very intense, high-octane situations and able to get creative with the camera, but not feeling pretentious and full of himself that I think Boseman did in Saw 4. There's a lot of really great moments and just high-tension stakes, especially between some of the police officer characters at one point in the film. Maybe this was just more of a refresher for me because we had seen so much crap in the previous films that now that we have this one, it just looks so much better. This movie really does feel like his own comparative to the other films that all kind of blend in together. I think Saw 6 stands out much more than Saw 5 and Saw 4. Now, this movie does have a boatload of negatives, and we're going to start with the music. Like I mentioned in the previous review, I just do not care about the music. I love the theme, but they don't really use it in this one, and maybe that's just part of the change that Kevin Gurrant was trying to go for, but I found the music to be so disposable and so forgettable. I also found that there's some flashback moments in the film that were just so annoying. We get Amanda back. Like, it does pay off for a good twist. Like, I'll give them credit. This was an actual pretty good twist what they used, but they just throw it in here for so long, and then we finally get the twist after. It kind of pays off, but it just feels so unnecessary because she's been dead for a while. So why do we keep bringing back her and Jigsaw. Well, money, 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 money. The next negative I have is the traps. Now, overall, I think the traps are actually pretty good and were really creative and were really interesting overall, especially the carousel scene, which is definitely one of the best traps in the franchise. But I have to say, there are some traps earlier on that literally make no sense. They are so impossible to win. I didn't think some of these characters belonged in here, but they just do it anyways, and I just thought that was so disappointing. I just want to get away from that stupid stuff. And my last negative with this movie is that the story. Yes, the story is good for a Saw movie, but if we really look at the story overall comparative to horror movies or movies in general, it is still very convoluted, even though it does make much more sense than in the previous films. Went into so many different places, and they retroactively change and add things as they move along in these movies, and it just gets all confusing to figure out, oh wait, was in Saw 3 or was that in Saw 2? But wait a minute, if that was in Saw 4, then it's going to go back to Saw 3, but then Saw 3 moment happened before Saw 5, and then your just head explodes, and then you can't even watch the next movie. Unfortunately for me, I didn't really love it, and I don't think it's a great movie overall. I think it is very mediocre on its own. I don't think I'd probably watch this movie again. I am giving Saw 6 a 5 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the following review.